That's why I stay praying, examining my way. Hey, asking for his mercy every single one of my days. Cause I know I'm not perfect and I still make mistakes. But a righteous man gets up whenever Satan tries to break. The enemy is subtle and he knows just what to do. Hey, he'll make evil look appealing and disguise it as the truth. He'll make darkness seem like freedom and rebellion seem like gain. Hey, till a man wakes up one day surrounded only by pain. So I'm holding to the scriptures like a soldier holds his shield. Hey, standing on the battlefield and refusing not to yield. Cause the words of Yahweh are a weapon in my hand. Hey, and by keeping his commandments I continue to stand. Keep his laws when it's easy, keep his laws when it's hard. Keep his laws in the city, keep his laws in your yard. Keep his laws when you're happy, keep his laws when you cry. Keep his laws till the day that we meet him in the sky. Keep his laws, keep his way, hey, give him honor.
Alright. Shalom, 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 Israel. Coming with another lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem Yahushua Bahashem Rekakadash. I want to give double honor to the elders and apostles of the house of David. Also want to give a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect. Right, shalom. Today's lesson is going to be on giving no offense, that the ministry be not blamed. So whether you join the congregation, whether you start in the congregation, whether you join in the camp, whatever, hey, make sure you're on your P's and Q's. Understand that what you do in the public eye, even private, can get the ministry blamed. Salakia. So we're going to start off with the book of 2 Corinthians. Bear with me. Second Corinthians chapter 6 and verse number 3. It say, giving no offense in anything, right? That the ministry be not blamed. Now let's go into that word offense. Let's see what it say. Offense. Occasion of stumbling, to do something which causes others to stumble, leads them into error of sin, or putting a bad light upon the camp or the congregation. Right? So especially when you are a leader, and you run in the congregation, how you move, your members in your camp is going to follow that order. So you going off, you in lust, dealing with different type of spirits, you're going to cause these things to come into not only to you, but into your congregation. Right? Leaders, the Israelite community is constantly getting exposed, things of that sort. And that brings not only a bad light, a bad name, but wickedness. Especially when you getting on your camp members and you rebuking them, and then something comes out, against you, that makes you look like a hypocrite. And Sirach chapter 1 verse 29 tells us, be not a hypocrite in the sight of men. Take good heed what thou speakest. Right? So there shouldn't be no faults against you or the congregation. A heathen, Salakia, naysayers shouldn't have any evidence, right, that they can just bring up and say about you. Salakia. It shouldn't even be they shouldn't be able to have anything on you. So it should be nothing that gives the ministry blamed. All right, so let's get 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians chapter 8 and verse 20. It say, avoiding this, that no man should blame us in the abundance which is administered by us. Right? So, we are taking care not to stir up any complaints about the way we handle, this generous gift. Especially, you ain't doing this right, you ain't doing that right. You ain't doing this right or a certain way. Right? You want to make sure you're always in order and set, in righteousness. All right, let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse number 12. It says, if others be partakers of this power over you, are not we rather? Nonetheless, we have not used this power, but suffer all things, lest we should hinder the gospel of Hamashiach. Right? So if others have the right to expect this from you, having we, in greater right, but, we haven't made use of this right. Instead, we have endured everything in order not to put any obstacles in the way of the good news about Hamashiach. Right? So we try to not put anything in the way, of brothers and sisters trying to learn the gospel. But instead, we suffered everything because that's all about bearing your cross. Right? So let's get 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 32. Salakia. Whereas 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 32, give none offense, neither to the Jews, nor the Gentiles, nor to the church of Yahweh. Right? So, live in such a way as to cause no trouble either to the Jews or Gentiles or to the church. Right? And Gentiles can be Israelite Gentiles, or it can be the normal Gentiles. Because, Gentiles always coming up talking against the men of the Lord. And you don't want them to, hey, Wabba did this. He did that. Look at this. I got proof of this. This came out. They talking shit. So you don't want that. Giving none offense that the ministry be not blamed. Always stay ready, man. Always be ready to preach the word. Always be ready to break down certain things. Be able to answer every man. You want to, I'm not going to say you want to look to it seem to be perfect, but, you don't want to be, you want to be blameless, man. You want to be blameless. And of course, you're going to have some things that happen and, you might have to explain and things of that sort. But at the end of the day, don't willfully try to get the ministry blamed. All right, let's get the book of Matthew. We're going to get this and we're going to close out. It's very, very important. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16. Behold, I sent forth as sheep. Salakia, behold, I sent you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpent. Well, what do a serpent do? A serpent, he knows how to maneuver. He knows how to slither. Get his way. Deceive. Things of that sort. So be wise as a serpent. He know different type of movements, different type of algorithms, routines. He know what you like. He know what you don't like. So be wise, right? And I believe that's we gonna get one of Sirach after this too. Salakia. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves, right? So be wise as a serpent, right? Let's get I believe it's Sirach. No, I don't want Sirach 5 and GNT. I'm gonna get the KJV. Here you go. So be wise as serpents, and harmless as doves, right? And it say, Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 5, verse 15. Be not ignorant of anything, in a great matter or a small, right? So don't be ignorant in none of these things. Don't be ignorant something that's great and something that's small. Know what's going on. So that's what it means to be wise as a serpent, right? So take this into account. Uh, use it as exhortation to want to do better. Leaders, if you're a leader of a camp or a congregation, your congregation or your camp members should know what you're struggling with, man. They should know what you're dealing with, right? It shouldn't be always you counseling somebody about a sin they're dealing with or giving counsel. You need counsel as well. Especially, as a leader, you're supposed to be the number one servant. You there to serve, man. When Yahushua came to serve. You're supposed to be that same spirit of Yahushua. You're supposed to be humble. That's how your congregation stays afloat. Humbleness. You're supposed to be serving thy brother, not ruling over him, serving him, man. Right? So I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rikakadash, Shalom.